get back to this. If I'm almost willing to bet, if you was to get a Webster's dictionary and look up the definition for cheater, it'd be in the C's. It'd be C, cat, CA, you keep turning. Church, okay, now we're on the right page. Well, actually, it'd be... All right, what's up, y'all, man? Sunday, appreciate you guys. That was, of course, cheaters. I did a little thing yesterday on cheaters. And I felt as though I had to just drop some knowledge on. I had to do like a part 2 to it, but call it something entirely different. So I'm going to help you guys understand something. I'm going to help you guys understand the difference between a player and a playboy. The difference between a player and a playboy. You see, when you're as old as dirt like I am, I'm an old dirtian. You're actually seeing the evolution of game. So please allow me, as I crack y'all over the head for this Sunday. This is what, the 6th of December, 2020. Allow me. Beautiful day we have in here in Virginia. Allow me to kick some facts at 100% formally. Now, when I kick facts, I'm dubbed the hated one. Individuals, you ain't down with me over on the hated one. The link is below the video. Stop fucking with me. All right. People, I'm going to tell you something, and I want women to pay close attention to what I'm about to say right now. Because your coochie and your heart depends on it. People, when I was back in the 80s, when I was a teenager, jeans and boots descended from the construction site. It was a depiction of the working man. That's where jeans and boots came from. All right? You get yourself a pair of boots, get you some jeans, and it looked like you just came home from work. I need y'all to follow me. So when the B-boy, because that's when the B-boy style was in. It was either the rough and rugged look or the B-boy look, hip-hop, which was Lee jeans and Adidas. The Wranglers was a depiction of more of the hardcore stance. I need y'all to follow me. But the unfortunates of the ghetto, what the ghetto unfortunately do is it take things and downgrade it to fit the narrative. It's kind of like the broke down version. I remember I was watching an interview by Rick James, the late Rick James. And Rick James said, I did not want a Cadillac. I wanted a Rolls Royce. He didn't want a Cadillac because all the black people brought Cadillacs and he didn't want a Cadillac. So he was like, I want a Rolls Royce. All right, I need y'all to follow me. So if Rolls Royce is the expensive version of a Cadillac, then Cadillac is Cadillac. But Rick James said he wanted a Rolls Royce because all the other people had Cadillacs. What the black community did was it took the rough and rugged look from the construction site and we took it down to hooligan. So now we took the rough and rugged and we claimed we wanted a Thug, but Thug didn't have an image at first, and then Thug took on we incorporated the jeans and boots, and we gonna flavor it up a little bit. We're gonna wear it off our booty, looking like chiz. But that's what they decided to do. But they had to, once the black people got a hold of it, they had to dumb it down to make it easier, to make it more compatible. People, there's this place called the Playboy Mansion. And I think the problem that women don't understand when they dealing with a player is that players are broke. Playboys are the ones with the money. Let me enlighten you. How many of you seen the Avengers? When Tony Stark and Captain Steve Rogers got into it? And then Captain Steve Rogers said to Tony Stark, all that, and what are you? What did Tony Stark say? Genius, billionaire, playboy, philanthropist. So we're going to not focus on a philanthropy. We ain't going to focus on the genius. We ain't going to focus on the billionaire. Let's just focus on the fact that a billionaire said he was a playboy. You see, in the white community, they didn't dumb down being a player. This is why a lot of white women, when their husbands cheat, it consists of a hotel room, things happening, expense reports, etc., because the white man uses his clout, uses his status and say, I want to be a playboy, because they got the money to be a playboy. Stay with me. But the black man, we had to dumb down being a playboy and just said, I'm going to be a player. And what does the player do? The player needs the woman to be more of a dummy. The playboy need to promise the woman a lot more. The player knows that he shouldn't be with that woman. He knows he shouldn't be with that woman. The player knows I'm out here trying to catch whatever I can catch, but I ain't got nothing. So the world is a playground. Yeah, you see, the player should not be mistaken for the playboy. This is why a lot of players normally need more from the woman beyond just sex. The player knows that he's beneath the woman. The player knows. He knows. The player knows he ain't. He knows that. I need y'all to follow me, because I'm going to help y'all understand today what's the difference between a player and a playboy. And to help y'all understand that when a player and a playboy do the exact same thing, it's an entirely different meaning. Why? Why then now? Is a person, how could then individuals do the same thing and it be too different? Because people, when Donald Trump, a billionaire, was having that thing going on with Stormy Daniels, you know what Stormy Daniels didn't do? Stormy Daniels didn't try to secure the bag with a baby. She didn't do that. What's going on, Leonard? My man, Mr. Dogs, is in this joint too. Also, the dog stray. I like that. What's going on? He says, one love, family. One love, homie. And he also said, players are boys who hasn't grown up yet. Yeah, it's a little bit more to that. Players can't afford to play the game that they're playing. They can't. This is why I got a friend of mine. I used to tell my friend James, bruh, you ain't supposed to play the game like that, dog. You ain't supposed to play the game like that. Bring on all these women to your house. You ain't supposed to do that. I personally I'll look at it like this. There's three tiers. There's that woman with 5 kids by 5 different dudes that should be glad to be sucking on somebody's scrotum. It's unfortunate, but she put herself in Scallywag's way. That's the type of chick, you pull up to she pull up to your house or whatever, or to your job and buff you off in the parking lot. Parking lot, what do they call them? Parking lot lizards, whatever. Lot lizards. Then there's another tier of woman that put herself in an unfortunate situation where she got to always try to entertain a guy because she got to try to sex him because she knows, every woman knows their situation. So you go to that woman's house and you bone her off, whatever. Then the third tier woman, you open up you give her keys to the house. She gets to come over to the house. She gets to she gets to understand you. She gets to know you. You let that woman in. That's the difference. But I ain't talking about that. I'm talking about players, and I'm talking about playboys. People, the unfortunate of a lot of individuals out there being players, you cannot afford the very game that you're playing. The true game to play is to separate the worlds. You're supposed to keep the worlds separated. But when you're a player, you're broke and busted. You don't have nothing. So what happens is players, they talk more. They talk more and they offer up a more incentive. They give more of themselves. Playboys don't do that. Playboys, when the woman comes around them, she's in awe. She's like, oh my God. The player says, hey, look, I'm going to send a car to come get you. Oh, meet me over there. Oh, I'm going to be late. I stayed over late at the meeting. A playboy knows how to truly play the game. Now, it is in your best interest, that if you think that you're going to mix up the two, if you think you're going to be married, you can only be a playboy. You can't be a player and be married. Like, I'll give you an example. You know that there are guys. No. The dog Stray said, basically, is a playboy and gigolo the same? No. A gigolo is just somebody that's running around just always gabbing with the women. Getting what he can, scrap time, whatever. No. Playboy is top echelon. Playboy is how it was back in the 60s. That's why Hugh Hefner was the ultimate Mac Daddy playboy, all right? But if you're married, you can only be a playboy. Problem with a lot of you married individuals that's out there playing the game, the problem is you can't afford to be a playboy. You can't afford to be a playboy. So you go ahead and you opt in to be a player. Now, what I just said was and I heard what I said because I was sitting here when I said it. What I just said was the unfortunates of playboys is players, excuse me. Players have to offer more of themselves. You know why they have to offer more of themselves? Because they don't have no money. You see, if you just got a chick where you say, listen, every Thursday, I'm gonna meet you in a hotel room, I'm gonna give you 300. When I come up in there, have your booty bent over, I wanna see that booty. You can play that game. She gonna be like, oh, cool. I'm getting me every $1,200 a month, $300 every Thursday, blah, blah, blah. I'm cool. That's what a playboy do. That's how a playboy roll. But if you got a player, some of you women out there with players, some of you dudes out there are players too, you can't afford to be a playboy. You like, shoot, $300 every Thursday? I ain't got that type of bread. So you know what? Man, shoot, I got to find me a chick where I can go over her house, beat the booty up, blah, 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 blah. And in doing that, you're giving more of yourself. You're giving more of yourself. And the reason why you're giving more of yourself is, you guessed it, you cannot afford. You can't afford it. And as a player and married, and you got to give more of yourself, now you're in a relationship. Now, there's a whole bunch of switches and stuff that you're fucking with now. Take her to McDonald's. No. Bring her McDonald's. See, you fucking up, Dog Stray. Dog Stray said take her to McDonald's. No. You bring her McDonald's. You don't expose, when you're a player, you don't got no money. You can't expose a chick to a menu. You can't do that. You can't do that. Where they do that at? No, yo, dog, you fucking up again. You said Uber Eats. Uber Eats. Listen. Let me say it again. You don't players ain't got no money. You can't expose a chick to a menu. You got to be like, hey, I went past McDonald's. I brought you. Don't call them up and tell them, hey, I'm at McDonald's, you want something? Yeah, give me 420 pieces. Now give me a second. Now you fucking up. But when you're a playboy, that girl just want her $300. She know the deal. Y'all probably gonna talk. How's the wife? Oh yeah, so how old your kid? Oh, she got the cockeyed straightened eye surgery. Oh yeah, blah blah boom 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 pow. Okay, boom. We have dumbed down the game in the community you guys call black because you can't afford the game you playing. You want to be, a man wants to get out there and wants to be everything. There's a term, and the term says, don't hate the player, hate the game. Is that what they say? Okay, all right. That's funny. That's cute. You're going to play the game long enough whereas though the game is going to start playing you. I promise you that. People, nobody wins in the game of wrong. Nobody wins. And even if you think you went through this thing, and you did all this stuff and you did that and you cooling out, you're putting time into something where there's nothing. There's just nothing. People always told you. That's where the Shulin thing comes from. I'd rather go on Craigslist and buy some booty than be out there trying to get into a relationship with somebody and mess around. I don't play that game. I don't do that neither. But I'm just saying, a lot of you guys, you please pass this video on. A lot of you guys, you want to be a playboy, but you can only afford to be a player. And what you got to understand is, when you're out there in that game, you can't. You just can't play the game. I appreciate that. My man Fox said, sir, you are wise beyond your years. I salute you for that. Thank you so much. You can't. People, the game of sex costs money. Y'all guys be wanting to chase. Listen, man. Don't tell her I told y'all this, but when my baby reached out to me, why y'all think I call her she cakes? I mean, goddamn. Shit. That's all I'm gonna say. You guys, people, uh, there's something called the end game. The end game. And the end game is the final destination. It's the final game. It's why Infinity War, the end game. It was Infinity War, then after the war, the end game. Where do you want to end up? What do you think is going to happen when you dedicate? You know, I meet a lot of women. I've met a lot of women. Met a lot of dudes too. But I met a lot of women that always want to make the claim that men are no good at my age now. Men are no good. I was talking to my lady about this today, and I was saying that women are just burnt out. And she was like, well, you just want a young girl. And I was like, no. I said, baby, I want a young girl. What I'm saying is what I said, not what you're trying to pin on me. Now, she was trying to pin me. She was trying to pin me. But what's going on, Eric? And I got to tell you guys, I got a couple of new faces in this joint. Listen, man, the link is below the video, man. Facts at 100% formerly. Now it's the hated one. Look down below, subscribe, bring your ass over there. I'm gonna actually do a video at about 7 o'clock on the president. I just posted some video yesterday about the president, the election update. It's over at the hated one. Subscribe. Stop fucking with me. All right. So me and my lady was talking today, and she was like, you just want you some young coup de quat young man wanter. And I was like, no. I said, listen, I see women burnt out. I'm talking brain is fried. Now, here's what I'm saying. What I just said, what is going to be your end game? That's what I said, right? So if I meet somebody and all they did in their youth was play, right? She cakes, SHE cakes, not sheet. If I meet somebody and all they did was play, and now in the game, which Wendy Williams stated so well back in the 90s, Wendy Williams said, women aren't designed to play the game because you think all you're going to do is want some dick from that dude at work. But the second you see him at the wine cooler talking to another chick, you're going to be all in your emotions. That's what Wendy Williams said, and I believe that. And I believe that because I've met a lot of women today up in my age is what I mean. And they burnt out. They got all these perspectives and narratives on what they should have been to a man, and their love wires are fried. They are burnt out. They are burnt out. Holy smoke, King. I love that, man. I like that. King put prostitute, prepaid plan, girlfriend, monthly subscription, wifey, lifetime contract, plan, a penalty fee if canceled. Wow. Yo, I have to screenshot that like right now. Holy smoly. Holy smoly. I got to screenshot that. Very well said, King. Very well said. Like I said, y'all, check me over on the hated one, man. The link is below the video. So go over there, subscribe, because I'm posting a couple of videos on there tonight. But just understand that there are a lot of females that play games. You know, the situation I had with the idiot that lived on my block, my sister was the one that educated me. My sister said, oh, see, she ain't ready to stop playing. You see, you got to understand too, both men and women. You got to understand when you are dealing with someone, and you got to understand what their previous world was. Because if it's so far off different than the world that she's in with you, she needs to do a lot of trimming. He needs to do a lot of trimming. A lot of trimming needs to be done. A lot of trimming. You can tell what type of format of love they was in. Appreciate those thumbs up. You could tell what type of format of love they was in based on how much negativity they want to throw in the game. But I'm talking about playboys and players. We took rugged and turned it into thug, and then we had to throw it one level than that. We took thug and had to downgrade it to hooligan. The black community just insists on cheapening. That's not a word, by the way. I know it's not. It just sounds cool to say. The black community insists on cheapening everything so that everybody qualifies for it. We can't afford to be playboys, so we just be players, and that's why they end up calling relationship, etc., etc. Like I said, I want to give an example earlier, but I went left, baby. Oh, I went left, baby. Let me just throw something at you. You know, like a pilot. A pilot flies from city to city. There was one pilot back in like the 80s or something. It was a story that I seen on TV, one of them crime shows or whatever. The dude had like 3 wives in 3 different states. I'm talking wives, not girlfriends. Dude had wives. He had wives. He was just doing the damn thing. He was a pilot. He was like, look, everybody got to understand, I'm always in the air, blah, 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 blah. People, I'm going to tell you something. The one thing that I do when I'm giving somebody my all is I make sure that they understand my whereabouts every minute of the day. I need y'all to follow me. You could have an issue with somebody based on some things getting taken out of context, or you can have an issue with somebody the way they present things to you. And relationships are beautiful, y'all. I'm not going to. I love what King wrote. I love that. I can't agree with that more. Actually, that's one of the few times somebody posted something that I can't top. I can't even comment on that. But I'm going to say this. People, be honest with your whomever. If you're going to go to James' house, tell your woman you're going to James' house. Don't tell your woman you're going to sleep and then go over James' house, and then she come to your house and you ain't there. And then you be like, well, I was at James' house. That ain't what you told your baby. You told your baby you was going to sleep. If it wasn't a big deal, you would have told your baby, I'm going to sleep. Now your baby is mad because you said one thing and you did something else. Hey, listen, man. I appreciate y'all. I will see you guys later over on Facts at 100%, formerly now called The Hated One. Later, y'all.